Hello Commanders, it's time for another Star Trek Fleet Command video. In today's video, I want to talk about the favors that I would recommend that you go for first in the expansion of the Ex-Borg tree that we received for patch 62. I think it's fair to say that a lot of players are very frustrated. The turn-in for the loot is not 5 minutes today. Maybe when you've got a bunch of the favors unlocked, it will be. It seems like that's gonna take some time based upon current turn-ins. And what do I mean? Well, I've seen it from different people, but for me, let me show you. If I go to the faction, the Xindi Scrap Exchange, for me, as a level 54, it's 60,000 for a single chest and 150 for a double chest. The turn-in for a single chest alone, very frustrating. So we'll have to do some testing to see what we can figure out to make this as smooth as possible. And maybe Scopely will make some adjustments for it, because my understanding is that it scales up as you go up in operations level. But I still am hearing or seeing comments from even players in the 40s, mid to upper 40s, that are frustrated too. So there's 4 favors that I would recommend that you focus on first. The first off is this particle beam delay. The new hostiles have a go-home cannon. You take significant damage if you don't destroy it by a certain round. And so you'll need this in order to delay that cannon from going off, so you have time to take out the hostile first. The second is the Xindi escalation. I wish I'd had more of these regular Ex-Borg credits saved up, so I'm just gonna have to slowly work on this. Currently getting, and I maybe need to look at crews, but currently getting around 9,000 per run, but that's about 3 billion titanium per ship repair too, so I'm not too excited about that. So maybe we'll find out some better crews, but honestly, I think this is going to be huge as far as you getting the loot that you need for your turn-in. So I would focus on that as you can. The next one is this critical damage floor. The new hostiles have this ability that basically eliminates your criticals, and we'll show you that in a minute here. But this one is going to be essential to you doing damage to the hostiles and taking them out. And then lastly, the last set that I would recommend that you get right off the bat is these emergency protocols for explorer battleships or interceptors. Now, they trigger when your hull goes beneath a certain percentage. I think it's 35 for all of them. Yeah, so when your hull drops below 35% and you apply morale burning or hull breach, then you'll have a certain percentage of your hull that will be regenerated. So those will be helpful for doing this loop. So let me talk about the hostiles real quick, and then we'll hop back in here and we'll look at the other ones I would recommend you get after, but I wouldn't have them as an initial priority. So I currently have my Vorcha sitting in this system right here in Voix, and this is just northwest of that old Borg cube, Cardassia space, northwest of that area. It kind of looks, to me, it looks purplish. So that's where you're gonna need to go to hit hostiles. And they have 2 abilities, 2 ship abilities. The first one is they basically ignore your shields. So they hit, and the only damage you're doing is what you mitigate. So massive damage to your ship, because you can't, there's no longer that 80-20 split. It may be interesting to see how Talon or Chen works, have to look at the firing pattern on them, but essentially no shields, so that's tough. Secondly, at the start of combat, they basically eliminate your criticals. Reduces critical hit damage by 500% for 2 rounds, and then the Zindi weaponry is that go home cannon. So without this favor, let's hop back in and look at it again, just for reference. The critical damage floor favor, you do no critical damage. So what does that look like in a battle report? How does that play out? So if we look at this battle report real quick, and I did send out my Pilum just to kind of see a lower level system, since it has that loot increase ship ability. I just wanted to see how it worked out. But if you see it these first couple of shots, that you take no shield damage. All goes to your hull, whatever you don't mitigate. So that's painful. And I didn't do any criticals here until next round, I think it was. But essentially, you could have a round if you had crits the whole round, you could do no damage at all. So that completely eliminates, blows out the benefit of having Hugh below decks. Hugh's not going to help you, at least initially. Once you were able to get that minimum floor favor, the research that they have in that tree, I call it research, but it's really just the favor. Then criticals will start to matter, but initially I would say not only work on that favor, but I would say take Hugh off of your below decks. Put Tom Paris down there so you increase mitigation if you have to, but no Hugh. No Hugh initially, so take him out of there. So those are the main favors. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Currently, everyone is struggling to get the loot they need for even a single turn-in. Lots of people complaining, and that's the key. I would recommend that in the kindest way possible, you send a ticket in, and like I say kindest, because we're all frustrated and we don't want to be cussing and cursing Scopely in a message as much as we want to. Be courteous, but send in a message and say, this is not acceptable, this is not good, this is not fun, we'll never progress. As it currently stands, if they don't make changes, the only way it seems like the free-to-play are going to progress is if they buy packs, which I know people won't do. A lot of people won't do that. So let's make it fun, Scopely. Let's stop making it this huge struggle. At least for the initial period. There's got to be some adjustments to the turn-ins that can be done. Okay, so just hop back in really quick and talk about the other favors. Once again, these are ones I would not focus on initially until you have the others maxed or pretty well leveled. Borg Armada Spoils, that will help you with the credits you're getting from your armadas for Borg. And Borg is really important, in my opinion, for the different turn-ins, especially as you level up and you're doing the epic turn-ins, for the officer shards and other things that come along with it. These plunder ones are going to be fantastic for saving you time to get the broken ship parts that you need for G4 and G5, so you can do turn-ins, and really efficiency-wise, that's really helping out a ton. The Monobeam Barrage Amplifier increases the damage of your Monobeam. I know not everyone has one. The free-to-play path has really not been that great, but that will help you at some point with that. This defensive repair stance is on a captured node, so it's PvP and territory capture, so that will have some application later on. We already talked about these here. There's the PvP mending for the different ship types, so that will come in handy in PvP battles, if that's your thing. Offensive repair stance, also PvP, 50%, below 50% hull health. The XP will be very beneficial, I think. Let's see here, double check if I remember right, a lot to go over here. Combat stratagem, so up to 250% increase in ship XP. Now I know there's other ship XP stuff in the game, but that will be helpful. As you get to higher ships, harder to get those leveled and maxed. material construction resources for building, so material and resources efficiencies there. This axionic servos efficiency, so that will be good. And then parts for G4 and G5 for the different ship types. So those will be really good to have to help you to be able to upgrade your ships. And actually, if we look at the percentages, up to 150% when max, so not too bad. So some pretty good stuff in here, some stuff I would absolutely recommend that you focus on. And I wouldn't focus on some of this other stuff, like this material exchange is tempting, but if you're spending this, you're going to be hindering your gameplay as far as what you need to invest in the favors first, so then you can take advantage of some of this other neat stuff. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it's not the answer to quell all the problems that we're having today, but hopefully it gives those who maybe don't understand the hostels well enough, give you some insight on how some of those favors work, especially the ones that I recommend, because it's those favors that are really going to make it so that you can progress in this faction. And we'll just have to wait and see what, if any, adjustments Scopely can and will make quickly to this grind. So hopefully that's helpful. Feel free to leave your comments below. Join the Discord so you can get help there, as well as our monthly giveaway. Have one going away right now for a battle pass that we'll be giving away in a couple of days. So hopefully this is helpful, and have a good day.